I was born and raised in Ohio, and my parents rode and everything, and we had some woods that we'd trail ride in. And I can remember being like 3 years old probably, and I had a little black and white Shetland named Bubba, and we were trail riding, and he was walking, kept getting farther and farther behind, and I kept thinking I was going to get left behind. Holler, and they're like, well, make him trot. And so that's probably the first thing I remember. Both my parents barrel raced, and we did quite a bit when I was a fairly young kid. I mean, all summer. In Ohio at the time, I mean, it wasn't a professional thing like it is here now. But, you know, just started with the parents, and we went to a barrel race, you know, every weekend when I was a little kid. I stopped barrel racing for a few years and started doing some English, a little bit of hunter jumper, because we couldn't afford a fast enough horse, and I wanted to win. So anyway, did that for a few years. Went to college. I galloped race horses at Beulah Park in Columbus, Ohio. Moved out here, worked for a cutter, started training on my own. I broke a lot of colts in high school and, you know, my early 20s. Broke horses because I was broke, and I was fearless back then. So, you know, it worked out, and started working for Judd in about 2005. You know, worked for him for 5 years, kind of got my career going, and when I got married in 2010, moved here and started training completely on my own. The very first really good futurity horse I had was Sooner Superstar. She was Judd Little's, and somebody came to try her for $7,500, and they didn't like her, so they didn't buy her. And it wasn't 2 months later, I was like, no, you can't sell this one. So she was my first great one. She won the first futurity that I'd ever won with me, you know, earlier in the year, and kept winning and kept winning. Ended up winning the BFA, and that was, oh, what year was that? 2007 or 8, and then again won the BFA in 2010 on Aced My Bully. I'd won an AQHA Senior Barrels World Championship on Flit and Fire and Cash that Cassie Mallory had trained. I won the Junior Barrels AQHA on Dash to Heaven, and JL Dash to Heaven, I'm sorry. And he'd won tons of other things, broke some arena records. I won pro rodeos on him, futurities, derbies, you name it. Some other standouts, Return of the Bully. She won 7 futurities and a little over 115,000 her futurity year. More recently, KN Fab's Mist of Fame, I won Fort Smith on, and about 100,000 on her. And I won the juvenile futurity a few years ago on Martha Six Shooter, which is my husband's mother's horse, Nancy Baldwin. And then last year won the juvenile on Dashing Czar at the BFA. I'm trying to cut back on the number of horses I have in training to go with quality over quantity. Of course, I've been trying to do that for the last 4 years, but I think I finally got it under wraps. And, you know, we've started to buy some of our own nicer colts for the first time. The last couple of years, I've been able to afford the kind of quality horses that, you know, have the potential to be way up in the winner's circle. And without buying those kind of colts, there's really no point in me buying a colt at all, because I have customers that'll send me those high caliber horses. So it's pointless for me to have, you know, just a mediocre horse. So anything we buy now, we try to buy a really high caliber horse. You know, eventually I may get into breeding a little bit, but so far I've not had a lot of luck with that. There's a lot more to it than I know. It's pretty amazing that I worked at the Judd Little Ranch for 5 years, and they have this huge breeding facility, and I basically know nothing about breeding. I just stick to training them.